but my hair looks so nice. Like that color with this light. I love daylight. What can I say? All right, roll the clip. Okay, first of all, I love Tyler. I love whatever he does as a creative director, as a designer, as a musician. But this thought I find controversial because I think you have to keep yourself in check as a person, as a creator, like generally. What I mean by that is I hear a lot of people online carrying this narrative of like, oh, you have to be absolutely delusional about what you do. You have to like imagine this amazing life for yourself. You have to like imagine like sort of the, you know, your ideas and just like live it, you know, and like be not resilient, but like be completely devoured by them and you have to like be delusional. But I don't know if I agree with this idea 100%. I don't think it's right to be delusional. Or maybe it's not the right word for how people talk about it or like for what people are trying to say. I think the greatest skill is to believe in your ideas, yet keep yourself in check, stay grounded in reality. Because I don't exactly believe that like, ooh, failure doesn't even register in my head. Like maybe it's just me, maybe it's not the way I approach things, obviously. Like Tyler, he's like a whole separate human being. He has a right for his opinion. But like you have to be aware that you're gonna fail on the way either way. Like you cannot really escape it. Whatever you're doing, there are gonna be moments when you fail, but it should not stop you, or like you should not stop doing something because of fear of failure. Be grounded, but like have hopes for better outcomes. Actually, you know, there's a really great saying in Russian, and that is «Надейся на лучшее, но готовься к худшему». So it translates to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Is that an English saying as well? I'm not sure. Maybe it's universal. I like that more, a more balanced approach. You should not be delusional. You should still have like, you have to be in contact with reality. You have to be like, yep, I know I might fail. That's also an opportunity. I'm gonna hope that I won't. I'm gonna do my best that I don't fail. But I know there's still a possibility of me failing because I'm a human being and because, you know, I'm learning and like, I don't know everything from the get-go. Of course, I'm gonna, you know, fail a few times, but that is gonna allow me to learn and grow, do things better in further times, like next time, whatever. So yeah, I don't like the word delusional. The greatest skill that you can have is having that balance of, again, hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, sort of implementing the risk management thing into whatever you're doing. You know, being aware that sometimes life doesn't go the way you plan, or like sometimes your projects and whatever you do, like it doesn't go the way you plan. And you have to adjust yourself to that and sort of keep going. You know, I really appreciate that skill. I'm still sort of working on it myself. I try not to fall into the extremes. It's the hardest part. Like balance, I feel like balance in any sphere is the hardest thing to achieve. And I find it incredibly, even like attractive in people. And I think it's a sign of being a mature human being, being a mature person, when you still have the ability to be as creative as you can be, as imaginative. You allow yourself that creative freedom, yet you keep yourself in check, yet you keep in touch with reality. That's like, I think the coolest thing, the coolest skill that you can have. I decided to show this to you to like spark a little discussion here and there. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments. Because I usually, you know, I go on here and show you whatever like really inspires me, like makes my day, and I'm totally positive about it. With this one, not so much. I don't really agree partially, even though I like the maybe motive behind it. But yeah, like I still thought maybe it's worth sharing on here today. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right. Whenever I say all right, I think of Central C for some reason. There's another really good one. I yapped about it for like a whole fucking half an hour and then my mic was off, apparently. Anyhow, I'm gonna yap about it once again, but I'll show you first.
Are some people bad at math?
Nobody's bad at math.
What is true is that a lot of people have been taught math poorly and don't realize what math is. Everyone problem solves all the time, and math is just the language of doing that problem solving. That's why we build brilliant.
Okay. This one is a bit weird because it's basically an ad that popped up in my feed, but I really like the message in the beginning, like before they start marketing, advertising the whole, like the app, whatever. I really like the message. And it sort of struck a chord with me because I sort of experienced that. And it's the notion of being bad at something in general, how deceiving it can be sometimes. What this guy said is so true. Sometimes we think we're bad at something or we're good at something, but it's only like here. It's because of we have this preconceived notion from, I don't know, when we were young, the way we were taught certain things that make us believe that we are not good enough at something, we're bad at something. I remember the first realization, sort of, that it's not true came to me when I started studying at uni. And I studied photography, and so like I've always had this idea of myself that I'm this creative kid. I don't do well with sciences, I don't do well with maths. Because I've studied music in my life and I've gone to art school. I'm good with languages and people, and so I'm more emotional. Maybe like social sciences are more for me, or maybe like art is more for me. And I sort of blocked out the whole part of, like, not a whole part of the world, but like like a whole bunch of fields that I thought I was just bad at because I had bad grades at maths, because like I wasn't, at school, I was like, oh, maybe it's not my thing. And my teachers were like, yeah, you're more creative, so, go do your thing. That notion totally shattered when I started uni and I studied photography. And so I remember we like had legit like chemistry and physics lectures on my program because obviously it's so intertwined with photography and the way it started and its history. And when we were discussing the beginnings of photography, it's very much rooted in science, something that I thought I was incredibly bad at my whole life. But when I sort of looked at it through the lens of pun unintended, through the lens of photography, something that I was really passionate about, I saw that I was missing out on this whole world, like this whole interesting, incredibly fascinating world. And only then it dawned on me that I'm not bad at it. I just never found this point of interest that would draw me to that would sort of like pique my interest and make me dig deeper into it. Same with maths. I'm sure, like, okay, if you give me like a problem to solve right now, mathematical problem that's a bit more advanced, it's gonna take me some time. It's gonna take some revision on my end, like, I don't know, probably pulling out textbooks like on maths from high school or something to be able to solve a problem. Of course, unless it's like, I don't know, 4 by 5 is 20, like something more complicated, of course. But I would do it at some point. And if I do enough of those, I'll get faster. It works like when you go work out, like muscles in the gym. Same with this. If I want to be good at maths, I'm gonna go and be good at maths. If it's genuinely something that I'm interested in and I really want to pursue it, I'll go and do it. And that's incredibly liberating because then you can do anything you want in this world. You can take up anything and do it and dig deeper into it and build knowledge and work on your skill, whatever it is. Isn't that a cool thought that you can do anything? Because as humans, I guess it's natural for us to put labels on things, and by that we're sort of separating things from each other. But we forget how connected everything is too. Something that might seem polar opposite might have a connection point somewhere. Let's say Russian literature and neuroscience, for example, like a just random example. Everything has a connection point. And so it's also important to realize how intertwined everything is with each other. And everything sort of makes up this fabric of the world in general. Ooh, I don't mean to get philosophical with that shit. I'm sorry. Like, whenever I start going on like yaps like that, and whenever I'm talking to my friends about things like that, like just the certain realizations, you're like, wow. Like, of course, you take it as a given because you exist in this world every day. You have shit to worry about. You have your daily things to go through. But when you sit down, you're like, fuck, this world is crazy. How is that even like possible? Like, I sort of feel like a kid again whenever I start thinking about like bigger questions in life and how everything's connected. And then I have so many questions. I feel like I'm 5 again. I'm like, well, Well, why we have this, and why does this work like this, and this works differently, and why this X and why this Y, and I don't know. I have this, you know what? It's gonna sound incredibly weird, but I have this hope that after we die, first of all, I don't know if you've known this, but I believe in the afterlife 100%. I know it's there. Like I just know. Otherwise, life would be mad boring. Like it would be, imagine it would be so boring that if like our existence would end on this like note. You know, that we're like these fragile physical beings and we live on a historical scale, on a historical timeline. We live like that long. Like it's nothing. Human life, like in a grand scale of things, is nothing, right? It would be boring. I don't want to get into it. If you want a separate video on like thoughts and existence or on life and death and whatever, feel free to let me know. I'm down to yap even more. But my hopes, the point where I wanted to bring it, is I just really want to believe, like a child inside of me wants to believe that after we die, we sort of wake back up and there is, I don't know, an angel, some sort of being sitting right in front of us, being like, hey, welcome, you died. Please go ahead. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And you're free to ask whatever the fuck you want. Like all the unanswered questions in your head, like, and this being would, I don't know, be giving you all these answers. I really want to believe it's like that. A child inside of me wants to believe it's like that. I want all my questions answered. And I'm sure that the older I grow, the more questions I'm gonna have. Of course, some of them are gonna be answered with like age, you know, the older, the wiser we get. But with some questions that like humanity wasn't able to find answers to for eternity, like how cool would it be to just die, wake up and be like, oh, so that's how it works. Damn. Imagine how cool it would be. I definitely like digressed like this. So, but that's, you know, that's my whole point. If you think that you're bad at something, you're just probably not interested enough to go and dig deeper into it. That's all I'm saying. I'll be signing out for today. I'll go give myself a little coffee and a cigarette break. But I'll be seeing you later. I'm not going anywhere. You're not getting rid of me that easily. So have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you're in the world right now. And I'll be seeing you very soon. Yeah. Bye.